this weekend in this matchup versus Titans?
Yes, I think it's a wrap. I think it's a lock, and it's because Aaron Rodgers is out there performing better than anybody else at the NFL level, especially at the quarterback position. I know where you're going. I know you very well. I don't want to hear a counter to this because I'm going to give you some numbers and I'm going to give you some arguments that I don't understand how you can counter that. Aaron Rodgers leads the NFL with 40 touchdown passes and 118 passer rating. Anything else? I mean, what else is left? What are you going to start talking about? Air yards? How else you be? Wait a minute. Am I number one in the NFL in throwing touchdown passes? Yeah. Do I have the best rating of all quarterbacks? Yeah. What else are we talking about? To win the MVP, you got to win in two columns. One is with the numbers. I just gave you the numbers. And one is with the narrative. Oh, that's when it really gets ugly. That's when it looks like Brooklyn versus Golden State opening night.
That was bad.
That was bad.
That
was bad, and this is going to get ugly, too. As close as Patrick Mahomes is to Aaron Rodgers, which I assume everyone thinks this is a two-horse race, it's not really when you start thinking narrative. Aaron Rodgers was left out to dry, left to die. They didn't draft anything he needed. And then when they did draft, they drafted at his position in the first round, giving up assets and resources that could have helped this team go farther than it did last year, which was one game away from the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers was sitting there like, did I just hear that Carson Wentz got a phone call from his organization saying, hey, we're interested in another quarterback just to let you know it's going to be okay, everything's fine. We know they were lying in because of what's happened now. Aaron Rodgers wasn't even given the courtesy of that same phone call. A potential GOAT, certainly your franchise quarterback, was left out there to die. And did he die? Nah, he just went out there and started killing everybody. So by the numbers and by the narrative, it is Aaron Rodgers' trophy to lose.
Oh, I don't mind that take. I'm going to come out the gate with a haymaker, have some fun, and then end it again.
Let me duck right
The first thing is very, very simple, Sel. The last three quarterbacks who won 15 games or more in a season won the MVP.
Ooh.
Last three quarterbacks, 15 games or more in a season, won the MVP. Okay. That's the first thing. And obviously, as you know, Patrick Mahomes is on pace to win 15 games. Marcellus, I used to hang out a lot more frequently now.
You think?
That didn't have money. So I used to hang out with some broke people. And the great thing about broke people, they just laugh more. I think maybe because life is just more comical. When you got more money, you get stressed. But you can have different conversations with people that have bread. And Marcellus Wiley, America, he has bread.
I'm not talking to you.
Let's have a conversation, Sal.
What?
The difference between somebody that makes $1 million and $1.2 million is not a big difference, at least not to me, because you're not crossing another landmark. Right? If you were to make $1.5 million or $2 million, that's different than $1 million. But if you make $1 million versus 1.2, there's not a big difference. You're not crossing a big landmark. That's how I think about this Aaron Rodgers-Mahomes conversation.
I'm listening.
You bring up touchdowns.
Wait a minute. Did you just say, you bring up touchdowns? That's what the game's about. I bring up touchdowns. You care about points.
Hey, he brought up touchdowns, so let's talk about it.
What else we going to talk about?
You bring up touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers supposed to end the season with, 44, 45 touchdowns? Patrick Mahomes supposed to end the season with 40, 41 touchdowns. That's a negligible difference. I call it standard deviation. It's not a big difference
but
there.
Who's winning?
See, now, if Aaron Rodgers were to have 50 touchdowns to Patrick Mahomes' 40 or 30, that's a different bracket. But you know about money because you have a lot of it. So you know about tax brackets. See, certain amounts of money can move you into another threshold, into another tax bracket. But Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, they in the same tax bracket of touchdowns. So where is there a different tax bracket? Where is there a difference that's not negligible? That is in both wins, because Patrick Mahomes, with winning 15 games, assuming he wins out, is in a different tax bracket of wins, but also in passing yards. Because Patrick Mahomes on pace to eclipse 5,000 passing yards. Only 12 times in NFL history has that been done. So I'm not mad at your take, but because you have money, you understand this tax brackets, bro. And as long as Aaron Rodgers end up in the same touchdown tax bracket, then there really ain't no difference touchdowns. So you got to talk to me differently.
Ooh.
Well, let's bring in somebody else who might have a difference of opinion. That's former Green Bay Packer wide receiver, Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. My dog looking fresh as always.
Ooh, he is crispy
He took
today.
one day off, but he does look fresh today. So, G, do you expect Aaron Rodgers to lock up the MVP this weekend?
That boy look good.
You do.
I don't expect him to lock up the MVP this weekend. I do expect him to lock it up. It will be a challenge, and here's why. When you look at the way that they're playing and why they're playing, the Tennessee Titans are coming in town. They're playing for something. The Packers are still trying to lock up that #1 seed. And so you're playing against a team who wants something, and they actually play well when it comes to cold weather and running the football. So you're going to be playing to win, not so much playing for stats. When you look across at Pat Mahomes, this week they got the Atlanta Falcons.
Good take.
They pretty much are sold up. So he can play a little bit more for stats. And Andy Reid and that offense, they understand what is at stake. They're not playing for their #1 seed, so to speak. They're playing, okay, let's make sure our guy get another MVP. So you got two different style of games that can potentially be played. You got one team that's playing that in the Green Bay Packers, we got to just win. Now, if Aaron Rodgers shows out like he's done all season, I think he makes his case even more because the odds were against him. Like Marcellus said, all year long, we expected Patrick Mahomes to do this and put up these types of numbers. We did not anticipate Aaron Rodgers putting up these type of numbers that he's shown us this year.
Yeah, man, it's a really simple conversation that only gets complex because both guys are almost at that same threshold. So then we're forced to split hairs. Let's start splitting hairs. Remember, whoever loses in this conversation is still an ultimate winner because we're talking about the two best quarterbacks this year. Acho, I must push back. You said that they're on pace, the Kansas City Chiefs, to win 15 games, and the last three quarterbacks that won 15 games also won the MVP.
Yes, sir.
A few weeks ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers were on pace to win 16 games. How'd that turn out? Okay, and then you're like, well, that's not the Chiefs. Oh, who did the Chiefs play? Atlanta. You can look at their record and be like, oh, they sorry. Wait a minute, Atlanta? At the end of the season? Oh, that ain't what you want to see. You know why? Ask Tampa Bay about Atlanta in the end of the season. Ask everybody that played Atlanta last year at the end of the season. For some reason, when you count them out, oh, it's time to count them in. That's a problem. Then they follow that game up with the Chargers. Justin Herbert. How did that go week 2 when they faced each other? Overtime, slim margin of victory by the Chiefs. And Justin Herbert's first game ever as a professional. So in that game also, Patrick Mahomes, it was a tight one. That's my point. They could be 13-3, Acho. Then what you gonna say? Where's your stat there? And last point I gotta push back on is this tax bracket conversation. Because you wanted to go there. We just went through an election, and we know that taxes gonna change for a lot of people, especially people that look like us up here on television. I'm in the highest tax bracket. I love to talk to my people for real. I'm in the highest tax bracket. But you know who also is in the highest tax bracket? Can't go any higher. Jeff Bezos. Like, me and Jeff Bezos in the same tax bracket, but boy, does it look different. Correct? So I don't want to hear this argument of, well, you know what? Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers are basically the same. If you 1,000 feet away, it looks that way. Come a little closer. It look a lot different. And that's what it is with Aaron Rodgers and some of the numbers. #1 in primetime performances, #1 in passing rating and touchdowns. Come a little closer, Acho. I ain't Jeff Bezos.
Here's the thing. So when I get close, when I zoom in, when I take my microscope out and I really start looking at it, it's such a negligible difference. Now, if you want to go back to, what was it, 6th grade, when we had science class and you would take out the microscopes and start looking for, atoms and all that other stuff, right? Well, I don't even know if you can see atoms under the microscope. I don't think you can. But if you want to talk about that, then maybe Marcellus will find a sliver of a difference in passing touchdowns. But what is the bigger barking point? The bigger chip is if you have 15 wins on the season, if you have thrown for 5,000 yards, only 8 quarterbacks in the NFL history have done that. It's only been done 12 times, and you have to be no great mathematician to understand that 32 starting quarterbacks over the course of 50 years, plus or minus, that's about, 1,500 opportunities, and it's only been done 12 times. So if Patrick Mahomes does that, then your biggest argument for Aaron Rodgers is something off a Hollywood script. He was counted out He wasn't supposed to be the starter.
Narrative.
They traded up to draft a quarterback to replace him. Your biggest argument then, Marcellus, is something that you might take to a showrunner and be like, hey, can we sell this on Hollywood Boulevard? But that doesn't stick in the NFL. The fact of the matter is Patrick Mahomes will have more team success. Patrick Mahomes will have just as much individual success. I get that we live in L.A., but not everything has to do with Hollywood. Some things just have to do with facts.
Good point.
Since we're stripping it all the way down and we're talking every little nuance here, when we talk about the most valuable player, it's just that. It is who is most important to their team, to their organization, if you will. And when you look at Aaron Rodgers and you look at Patrick Mahomes, are they both very talented? Yes. Can we say that their stats are pretty comparable? Yes. Value to the team. If you take away Aaron Rodgers, there is no Green Bay Packers. You take away Patrick Mahomes, you can insert an Alex Smith, you can insert somebody else, and they still have success because they have so many pieces. They have so many other variables that tie in to the success of their team. When you look at the Green Bay Packers, that is so not true. That is just not the case. You eliminate Aaron Rodgers, you've eliminated the Green Bay Packers from this discussion. You've eliminated the Green Bay Packers from the playoffs. You've eliminated the Green Bay Packers, period. So when we talk about the most valuable player, I get it. We get so mesmerized by these numbers that players are putting up, but the value to the team is of importance. And I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes is not valuable to that team, because he is.
Of course.
But he is not as valuable as Aaron Rodgers to the Green Bay Packers.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm hearing you properly. So you want to reward Aaron Rodgers because the organization didn't necessarily build a better organization. Is that what I'm hearing? Because it would be like saying Drew Brees isn't that valuable because they have a competent backup in Taysom Hill. So are we going to reward Aaron Rodgers because the rest of the Packers don't fit the bill? Because I understand that there is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, although he got hurt. I understand there's Le'Veon Bell. I understand that the Chiefs are competent enough to draft first-round picks that they'll actually play. I understand that the Chiefs are competent enough to go out there and sign another running back in the event their current starter gets hurt. I understand that the Chiefs organization has been more competent thus far in drafting and free agency than the Packers organization. But Greg Jennings, with those two Packers jerseys behind you, are you really going to sit here and say that we should reward Aaron Rodgers because of the deficiencies of management? Is that what I heard?
That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you can double reward him because his stats are there. You can't beat that. And because I have less to work with, and I'm still right where you at. So when we talk about putting the team on your back, that's what Aaron Rodgers has done. I'll pass the ball to Marcellus. Go ahead, take it home.
I like that right there, boy. Woo! We're talking about one conversation of a team being a dynasty, and one team that we were like, is this the beginning of the end, if not dynasty versus doom? But that may be too drastic, too extreme right there. Acho wants to hide behind the comparable numbers, even though Aaron Rodgers has the lead, and you can win an Olympic gold medal by that. Acho act like you got to blow somebody out to get the gold. Photo finish. Oh, I don't know who won. Hey, big dog, who you got? That's what's happening right now if you want to go with Acho. But stay with me. Stay with Greg. Let's talk about this. Patrick Mahomes made a mistake in this race, and he made it at the wrong time. And timing is everything. When you need a mulligan game, as even the MVPs need, and both of these guys have a mulligan game. But Aaron Rodgers' mulligan game was in Week 6 against Tampa Bay. When was Patrick Mahomes' mulligan game? Week 14, when all eyes are focused in on who is the MVP. Mulligan game.
Oh, he won. He won.
No, Mulligan. He won. And how many interceptions?
He won.
Yes, he won. Okay, my turn. Can you answer this? How many interceptions?
He threw 3.
Okay, that's his worst game of this season. So when Aaron Rodgers is sitting there saying, I have worse weapons around me, even though I got a better offensive line, and I have better numbers than you, then how are you going to beat me in this photo finish? It's Aaron Rodgers.
I got a question. I didn't want to ask, but I want Greg, I got to ask you because you played offense here. Greg, what's worse, 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions, one being a pick six, another going to the 1 yard line? No bias in. Like, I'm genuinely asking you, like, what's worse? 3 interceptions?
I know that answer.
Or 2 interceptions, but one was a pick six, the other was a pick to the 2?
I know that answer.
We can't have no pick sixes.
Yeah, that pick six ain't that.
So Sal, again, if we're going to talk about, okay, same tax bracket, but let's look within the tax brackets, let's look under the hood.
I like
Patrick Mahomes did have a 3-interception game.
Yeah.
He had a 3-interception game in which he won. Aaron Rodgers had a 2-interception game in which he lost by 28, and he contributed to that loss because he threw a pick six.
Yeah.
Even Aaron Rodgers' worst game was significantly worse. This is not my words. These are Greg Jennings, former Packers superstar with his jerseys behind him and a Lombardi trophy currently sitting on his lap. These are Greg Jennings' words, that the 2-pick game is worse. So, Sal, don't act like it's comparable now, big dog.
Okay.
Don't act like they both had bad games.
Okay, but I said timing is everything.
Okay.
Look, you ever been audited? Me either. All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If the IRS is going through your books and they're like, well, 6 years ago, what's this record we see in this transaction? Versus the IRS is right there, and your homie running, hey, big dog, are we still going to keep laundering? Oh, sorry, big dog. It's a little different. Timing is everything.